Hey, it's Dr. Karin. Unfortunately, we all have run-ins with toxic people in our lives. Am I right? I want to give you some key ways on how to deal with them and how to stop attracting them into your life. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want you to realize as we're talking about dealing with people, specifically toxic people, is that everything is energy. Okay, so what you're sensing when you're experiencing a toxic experience, something that is not healthy for your soul, you're experiencing energy that's of a very low vibration, okay? People that are toxic tend to spike the lowest vibrational emotions in you, which are shame and guilt and fear and anger, okay? So the lowest of those is shame and guilt. And so really toxic people will try to manipulate you into believing what they believe or to do what you want them to do by making you feel guilty, by shaming you specifically. Condemning you, criticizing you, keeping you in a loop where you feel less than the brilliant being of light that you are. So I want you to remember that every single part of that is energy. Every emotion you're feeling is energy. Every word you're feeling is energy. And the reason why I want you to know that so strongly as we continue is that you have control of your energy field. You do not have control of theirs, but you have every bit of control over how you receive, what you allow, how you interpret, and then how you end up emanating or feeling or reacting moving forward. So that actually makes you super powerful. But the power that I'm holding out for you to claim is your choice to claim. Do you want to take your power back? Do you want to be more empowered in your life? Especially if this is a person that you've run into a pattern of ongoing toxic dynamics with you. Maybe it's your intimate partner, maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your sister, your neighbor, a coworker, whoever it is. The pattern that's continued has been one. Now let me give you another strong point. Not only because they are bringing this energy with them, but you're matching it by agreeing to do the dance with them. So your energy field, your reaction, the way that you're handling them, now that you know you can't go back to not knowing, is up to you. The one thing you can do to change the dynamic is for you to change the way that you're reacting to them. So the way to change a dynamic is simply to do something different. And this is usually something that's not expected. So when you're in a toxic loop of behavior with someone, and it usually looks like them condemning you for doing something that you did wrong in their eyes, making you feel bad so that they can feel better, right? So hurt people don't hurt people. The ones that are hurting, the ones that feel bad about themselves, are the ones that want to bring others down. And if you've been the target of this, it's actually because that person sees you as a threat to them, as someone that may be more powerful in their mind. And so what's happening then is they want to project onto you the way they feel about themselves. So remember, people are always treating you from the basis of how they feel about themselves. So if somebody is putting that toxicity on you, what they're trying to do is continue to bring you down so that they can have control over you and tell you what to do, and they can feel empowered over you because they feel so disempowered on the inside. Pretty surprising to know, right? So knowing that, what you really want moving forward is to take your power back. Again, since we're going to a higher level of spiritual consciousness, if you're watching my channel, I hope that's something that you're aiming for. We don't want to sit in a place of condemning them. God bless their hearts. They're actually coming from a place of pain, okay? So we want to move away from the dynamic where you're fighting with them, where you're arguing, where you're backlashing, where you're trying to convince them of something that they're never probably going to get. So as we're stepping away, I want to bring the frequency in here of compassion for them, of compassion for whatever pain they might be feeling. That doesn't mean that you have to do anything for them. It just means not my circus, not my monkeys, right? Like that is their circus. It's nothing that you want to be involved in anymore. We give them compassion. We give them love for whatever it is they're going through. But you are going to start doing something different because you want to take your power back. So the first thing I want you to do to change this dynamic, first of all, set the intention that you want to change the dynamic. Do you want this dynamic to change? If you're here, my guess is yes. Set the intention and make the promise to yourself that you're going to follow through with changing the behavior. Now, the thing that you have to let go of in changing this behavior is the need to be right and the need to be liked. kind of tough because we're kind of talked into doing those things in our life. With this person, what we want to walk away from is the need to be right, because the truth is this person is going to hold on to their opinion until they're ready to have their own shift. You have shifted in a way that is away from the way they operate. You're no longer in alignment with that toxic behavior before, even if you were for years or decades. You growing and evolving as a spiritual being means that you've grown out of alignment with that dynamic. So you want to show them and show the universe, because you're going to attract what's like you, right? So you attracted this behavior because on some level at some point this was a match to you. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but right now the good thing is it's no longer a match. So as you float away from this being a match to you, you're going to want to do something different. You're going to want to change the way that you're offering your energy field towards them in the future. So the number one thing that I want you to do, first of all, when that pattern starts to rear its ugly head, take a breather and take a minute of a break. If you're actually face to face with them, this means taking a deep breath. If you can excuse yourself from the situation, the key is you've gotten into a mental and psychological and spiritual loop with them. So the key to interrupting this loop that's gone on for long enough is to do something different and to reroute it into a different direction. And the only way to do that is to disengage the road that you're traveling on. So the easiest thing to do is to disengage yourself in the moment. So you can say, I need to go to the restroom. I need to take a break. Can you hold on just a minute? Move away. If you're engaging on text, put the phone down. I know it's hard because what's your responsibility now is to stop the agreement to the pattern that you've developed. And when we're in these patterns of fighting and going round and round with these people, what has happened in the past? Have you ever convinced them that your opinion is right? Likely no. So we want you to disengage from what is a very non-productive loop. First of all, okay, we disengage, we walk away, we put the phone down. The rule that I have for myself, if this is in messaging, is to at least wait an hour. If possible, I really like to sleep on things. So right now, a lot of our communication is through messaging, through whatever form you're using. The best thing you can do is sleep on the response because when you're in that moment, they're triggering these old emotions in you, right? So you get triggered, you're human, you're getting triggered. It's reminding you of how much they suck. It reminds you of their mom. It reminds you of how much you wish they would change, whatever it is. That's not going to change. So you have to interrupt the loop, take that break, sleep on it. Because then what happens is you go through a cycle of reflection as you're sleeping, and your emotional state will shift so you're not reacting from the same emotion that you reacted to last week or last month. And you've changed your vibration as you've slept, and you have more of a reflective state of mind the next day. The next thing I really want you to do is to ask for guidance from divine sources. As you've disengaged, if you can take that break, walk away, wait for your response till the next day, ask your spirit team to intervene. Because when we commit to acting the old way, when we agree to acting the old way, which is in that emotional state, you're going to be reacting from the same state of consciousness that they've evoked in you. And if they've evoked you down to anger, fear, shame, only thing that's going to come from you reacting from that state of consciousness is more anger, shame, and guilt. And you're just going to exchange it. So we have to get you up the vibrational scale of consciousness to more of acceptance, more of love. If you can't find love for them, self-love, love for your life, anything that feels like love or peace or joy or gratitude. If we can get you up to that place and you react in a different way, you will then emit a different frequency within you, and it'll be their choice how they react. But I promise you, over time, either they will go somewhere else or it will change the dynamic for good between the two of you. So ask for guidance from your whatever you believe to be your higher power, your angels, your guides. Maybe your grandmother is on the other side and you'd like to have her input. Ask that while you sleep that you get more clarity. Ask that when you sit in prayer or meditation that morning that you get more clarity. Ask for the next steps that will bring the outcome of this interaction to the higher good, to the highest good for both of you. When you do that, you're actually raising your vibration up and you're coming with that other frequency. And remember, like attracts like. So when you're at that high frequency, they cannot come back at you with that low frequency and it be a valid point between the two of you. You are going to attract that which is like unto itself, which is a higher frequency of love and joy and peace. They may not know what to do with it when you first do it, but the more you're reacting from a different vantage point, which is not judgmental, which is not emotionally reactive, the more you're going to start shifting the dynamic. And if possible, if they're willing, you're going to draw out that higher aspect of themselves. So as you're moving up in vibration, what you're going to feel more is self-love, confidence in who you are, instead of agreeing to losing your power. So stop apologizing for wanting things to go in a certain direction, because here's the thing. Even if you've upset them in a certain way, or you're not agreeing to the dance, you're not responsible for them. You're not here to be anyone's savior. You're not here to save them or to convert them or anything. They are on their own spiritual path that they have chosen. Do you want to keep engaging in that with them? If you're here, the answer is no. Let them take that behavior and find another person who is on that level of attraction with them. Or if we can hold out space and hold out maybe a positive expectation for them to rise. So what happens here is you also then form an expectation that this person's a person you cannot take out of your life. You can rise in your frequency and expect for a higher version of them to come through. And wouldn't that be the most beautiful outcome? So always hold that expectation through meditation and prayer and vibration that the higher part of them will eventually come to the surface, because they have the potential to meet you there. So if this person's going to refuse to rise up the vibrational scale with you, I want to give you some surefire ways to end those toxic dynamics. But before I give them to you, if you like this kind of material and want to learn more about how to interact in a healthy way with people in your life, like this video, and while you're here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can get more videos just like them as soon as they come out. Let's get back to the material. So some surefire ways and levels of confidence that I want to drop into your being, into your knowing. I want to give you some validation here that will really help you in ending toxic behavior if the person refuses to raise their consciousness and to come to a place of lightness with you. Number one, stand in the confidence that it's okay for you to change, that you can change your mind in agreeing to this dynamic. You are maturing and growing, evolving. It is their choice whether they do it or not. It is okay for you to change your mind and not apologize to it. It's a really good idea for you to start repeating the same phrase to them. This is called a broken record technique, and it's very useful and impactful when dealing with people like this who get so focused on their opinion that they're not able to hear certain things. So what we have to do is find very simple, short sentences that we keep repeating back with grace and with love that draw a boundary on your agreement to engage in this kind of communication. You can say I'm sorry or not say I'm sorry, but you can say I'm sorry, I just can't right now. I'm sorry, I can't talk about this right now. I'm sorry, I can't make that right now. Just very, very short, and next time they come back, you can just say, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't do this right now. And keep repeating back. It will highly frustrate them, but by using that broken record technique, or you can always say, I understand how you feel, we just feel differently. Next time they try again. I understand that you feel that way, we just feel differently, I need to go. Period. Keep it very short and very succinct. So the shorter you keep those responses back, and the more that you draw that line in the sand without going into a huge explanation, without going into a huge apology, the less engagement you give that person, because toxic people really feed off of engagement. They feed off the energy of that argument. So the more you can pull that away and not give it to them, the less they will feel fed by you, and the more likely they will take that somewhere else. So for you, the final thing I want you to do is to focus on something else. Take your focus away from that person, that experience, because remember, what you focus on is going to persist and expand. So as you're leaving those toxic agreements, those toxic arguments, stop talking about it with other people. Stop bitching about it to your mom. Stop telling your friends. Stop putting out memes on social media about those kinds of people. Stop any of your expansion of those experiences, the things that you don't want in your life, because law of attraction shows us that whatever we focus on shows up over and over again. So what I want you to do is focus on the people that love you and that I give you reciprocal relationships, reciprocal love. Focus on things that you love to do. Take away so much attention to this person and to those dynamics. And that's one of the surest ways that you yourself can go towards a life that is much happier, calling in people that are much healthier for you and your well-being. If you're feeling really inspired and supported by this kind of information, and you really want to leave that main toxic relationship in your life, I have something I wrote just for you. It's a checklist with the 15 red flags of toxic relationships, and I give you pointers on why and how to leave them. It's free. Click the link below to grab it. I wrote it just for you.